Nevada, Missouri is home to the Missouri Welding Institute, a welding school who has had 94% placement for over 25 years. We're here to meet the students, learn all there is to know about welding, and witness that exceptional instruction. So Brian, I want you to take me back to 1994, the beginning of the Missouri Welding Institute. How did it all get started?
Well, basically my father, Tom Hollins, he had worked in the industry since he was 16 years old. He'd worked in basically every type of quality control and welding known to man. He worked at another welding school for about 10 years. He basically got his dream job, and then with another company, and it just didn't pan out the way he wanted, and so he took a 6-month sabbatical where he basically went over his business plan to start Missouri Welding Institute. And after 6 months, he came here to Nevada, and October 3rd, 1994, we ended up opening our doors and started our first group of students with 7 in our class.
7 in your class, and now, I mean, you're running 3 shifts, 24 hours a day. Take me through that course load and how the structure of the program has evolved since 1994.
Well, basically the structure of the program really hasn't changed that much. I mean, you know, my dad, he knew his stuff. You know, he'd worked at 2 or 3 different major welding schools, saw what they did right, saw what he thought they did wrong, and basically cooking up the curriculum for Missouri Welding Institute was just basically from all of his experiences at past welding schools. And you know, it's still the same 18-week program, 720 hours. You know, we start them out on flat overlapping beads and hopefully finish them on TIG all the way out. I mean, our training has evolved and gotten better so that we can get the students quicker to that, you know, the TIG all the way out and the more difficult welding. But for all intents and purposes, the program is still pretty much the same as it was back when we started the school in '94.
Well, we're sitting here in the classroom, but welding's a pretty hands-on application. So I'm sure that they're spending most of their time out in the shop. So take me through a day in the life of one of your students.
Well, basically it'll start off with an hour in the classroom. They're in the, you know, the program is 18 weeks long. The first 14 weeks of it, they'll be in the classroom for that first hour, and then the remainder of their 8-hour day they'll spend over in the welding shop doing their hands-on. The last 4 weeks of the training, you know, they're still going to be in the shop for the remainder of their day, but they'll move from the classroom into the pipe fitting laboratory where they'll get actual hands-on applications for all of the trade math, all the pipe takeoffs, all the blueprint reading that we study in here. Then they'll be able to go and do that hands-on in the pipe fitting laboratory.
So I heard you mention body positioning. We saw kids, you know, laying on the floor, welding up ahead. So welding's kind of harder on the body, but you're preparing them for real-life situations?
Absolutely. Body positioning of a welder is crucial because it's very important for a welder just in their very first day to learn that they weld from an uncomfortable position into a comfortable position. And floor Fridays, you know, that takes them out of a standard welding position where their tables are chest high or waist high or wherever they may be welding on their pipe or plate, and it lowers them to the floor, and they still have to apply the whole concept of welding from uncomfortable into comfortable. It's one of the building blocks of making a good welder.
Well, growing up not too far from here, and then as a former ag teacher south of here in McDonough County, friends I knew came here, I sent students here. Some of them came with many different backgrounds. So when you come and you're a first day student, are you starting at the basics, or do kids need to come in with some background in welding?
We take just anybody that they can have a background in welding or not. Obviously, it's going to help jumpstart your welding and help you get through the program quicker if you've welded in ag or if you've welded in Votech. But there's many people that we have come in here that, you know, they'll come in and just try a day of welding to see if they like it because they've never done it. And then they'll come into the program and they'll still wind up being very, very successful in our program.
I was really fascinated with the pipe fitting lab and really being able to see how that puzzle comes together. What techniques are they learning and how do they be proficient in pipe fitting?
Well, like I said earlier, they learn, your trade math and your blueprint reading, your pipe takeoffs. They learn all that here in the classroom, and we are actually able to have an actual working model in here. We have this all broken down into blueprints for them to be able to learn off of, and now they've got something tangible that they're looking at a blueprint and they're trying to understand how you're doing your isometric blueprints and how you're doing your pipe takeoffs. And we were always able to show them on paper, but we never had an actual model. So now they have that to look at, and then when they're done in the classroom for 14 weeks, they'll go to the pipe lab and they'll apply all that hands-on. They'll actually be able to cut their pipe to length. They're going to be able to be working off the center lines on piping ISOs, and that's the exact same stuff that they'll be doing in the field. So, not only do we teach them how to weld, but we also teach them how to pipe fit. And what a lot of people don't understand is a pipe fitter and a welder are two different entities. So when you come here and learn how to weld and learn how to pipe fit, you don't just get one opportunity at being able to. Yeah, you're way more marketable.
Let's talk about your ideal student. I graduated from high school. Not every kid's wanting to go to a 2 or 4 year degree. So you're not just attracting students from Missouri, all over, correct?
Correct.
And then what's their goals or aspirations? What type of student are you attracting? And then what careers are they going into?
Our run-of-the-mill student is an 18 or 19-year-old that's just gotten out of high school, or maybe he's been out of high school and college wasn't for them, or whatever the case might be, and then they come here and they're able to really fast track their career because this is a 4.5-month program. You pay a very nominal sum to be able to get an education where you can go out and work in the field and make 6 figures, and it's not uncommon for an 18 or 19-year-old to make 6 figures their first or second year out, and once you've been out, it's not uncommon for them to make 200 grand. It's just an amazing program in my opinion, just simply because of how short the training time is and how fast you can get out and make money as much as a degreed doctor or a degreed lawyer. And I've actually had kids come through school that the ends to their means, or the means to their ends rather, was for them to get out of welding school, make enough money to put themselves through college. I've actually had several students be able to do that. One of them ended up becoming a mechanical engineer.
Now, your program here, you've got a slew of staff and instructors. They're all graduates of here, right?
They are.
So what makes them want to come back and get in the classroom and out in the shop teaching that next generation?
Well, I think it's no different than me. I'm a graduate of the program as well, is when you go out and you're able to make good money and you're ready to go ahead and settle down in an area like this, it's very rewarding to come back to the place where you started and to be able to give back to the industry by training good men and women how to weld and be able to go out and be a success.
Well, you said men and women. We typically genderize this career that you're probably graduating 80 to 90% men, but you do have quite a few young women in the program.
Absolutely, absolutely, and many times they're out welding the men.
How has 2020 impacted the welding market? What's your career placement looking like now?
We're still probably in that 85 to 90% placement, even with the pandemic going on. It has slowed things down, but we also have a placement director that works very diligently to make sure that everybody has an opportunity at getting a weld test and getting on a job. And we have a great placement program. I mean, we have a week-long class that we teach placement in the classroom. At the very end of their course, they will also have what's called their exit interviews. That's where they'll spend a day to 2 days going over potential jobs that they can go to work on, and also having call training where the placement director actually coaches them through actual calls with companies. So we also have quarterly job fairs where we have as many as sometimes 15 and 20 different contractors here recruiting our students actively. So a lot of these kids have jobs weeks before they even get out of school.
Because they know that you're graduating quality students.
Absolutely.
Where can young men and women interested in potentially going into welding contact you or learn more about what you guys offer?
Well, they can go to our website, which is www.MissouriWeldingInstitute.com, or they can call us at 417-667-5800.